The loot that I'm showcasing right now came from woods, and there's a special reason why we were able to get it, and it is of course with the brand new zone that came out with the latest update to Tarkov. And of course this is somewhat, people are speculating, being Prapple's hideout. I'm not too convinced that that is the case, as you know, it's woods. It's probably more likely to be Jaeger if anyone was going to actually be spawning there as like an in-game trader, which Nikita wants to do. But the whole consensus and the whole thing is that this is a secret area that we weren't supposed to be able to get into, but we can. I'm going to show you how you can do that and some other things along the way that you can do whilst you're in your woods raids to make this much money very easily. And it's even better if you're running on a scav, because it guarantees you one of those extracts that is much better to extract from, rather than having to hopefully get the extract. So if you haven't seen my last video that we did on the channel, I'd highly recommend going and checking it out, because that gives you the location of the new secret bunker, which was added within the same patch that this now became available, and this specific video is going to be. So if you go and loot up the bunker, it has decent sizable amounts of loot in there. We managed to actually pick up 2 keys when I was jumping into my raid, and hopefully that will be showcased on the screen right now, so you guys at least know where the bunker is with the map, so you guys can go there as well alongside this route that we're taking afterwards. So now, directly after I actually went in there were a few PMCs, and this is why it's important to go to the bunker first before going to where we did, especially if you're a scav, because of the fact that you'll find PMCs will always make their way down to the bunker. And that allows you an easy opportunity to take out those PMCs really easily. And we did it with a Mosin, I believe. And of course, once you've taken them out, you can take their backpacks, which is going to give you that sizable backpack upgrade alongside armor that you can take out of the raid. And although you don't have to play as a scav, either way, it gives you a decent amount of extra loot just from taking out those PMCs. And because it's such close quarters, you can just head peek them and take them out pretty easily. So once you've done that, you can then loot up the downstairs of the actual bunker, going around. There's the mark circle where you can find keys as well as bitcoins and rare spawns as well. And then there's just a ton of actual loose loot that you can pick up as well. So if you've got a big backpack, you're playing on a PMC, absolutely fine. You don't need to take out the PMCs unless you want to. Of course, if you go down into the bunker, they're there, you have to. But at the same time, really good spot to start off the run, because it gives you about 800k's worth of value of loot just based off of the standard spawns, and occasionally factoring in maybe a rare loot spawn that you might get in there as well, like a bitcoin or something like that, which can make that price go way higher. But then, once we've gone to the bunker, we'll just head straight to this next secret area that some people have already done videos on. I'm sure you've already seen the area, but I wanted to include it in a run so you guys get an idea as to the total loot value that you can actually pull out of these raids, and why it's really important to be doing this on PVE if you are doing your woods raids, as well as the fact that it's most likely going to change, and maybe BSG will patch the actual entrance into this new area, so you might as well test it out whilst it still is on. If you're watching this on the day of release, there's a patch tomorrow, so I don't know whether they're going to maybe fix this area, or maybe they'll actually fully release the area. So hopefully this at least gives you the last chance of actually going into it before it comes into the live game, or maybe the early access to this area if you haven't already seen some of the other videos from other content creators who have made similar sort of videos. But jumping into the train tracks, this is where you want to go. It's already been part of the game. You had like a train station, like a broken down abandoned train station with the train right next to it. It's super simple to find. If you go to the UN roadblock, that is basically right near where you will find this area. It's kind of further up on the map, should be shown on screen right here. And then once you've kind of come to this location, you'll see that there's a train outside of the map boundary with, of course, the sniper sign that tells you that, you know, you're going to get hit if you go outside this zone, much like you see with any other map in the game. whereby it's not just a simple barrier that stops you from going anywhere, but you'll just get, you know, sniper scavved from a invisible sniper scav somewhere. But in terms of getting across the train tracks, what you want to do is just crouch down, head just slightly to the right of the actual cart that's in front of where we kind of go to, and then you make your way along that side. You want to dip into the actual underneath of the carts as you're going along, so only needing to pull out from the carts when there is like an actual chassis member, or I don't know what you even call it, but either way, when you cannot physically go any further, then you turn out right and then instantly back left. Make sure that you hug as close as possible to the actual cart itself when you turn out of the cart underside, and then of course just continue on down the railway track. And then once you make your way towards the end, you want to take a slight right, and then you can take an instant left basically on that final kind of stop on the underside of the cart, and then you'll see that there is a barrier to your left, as well as kind of an area where you can go in and actually enter into the zone. And once you're into the zone, there are a few key buildings that you want to hit up. The first one being directly on your left. Now, as you come out from the cart, do not go right, because the sniper scav can actually get you. They still aggro you when you're inside of here, but that's most likely just due to the fact that BSG aren't hoping anyone can actually get in here. But either way, you can go through that area. And so far on PVE, if you are playing on PVE, there's basically no one actually going there because it's not actually part of the map. Well, technically it is, but there's not actually any PMC spawns, so you don't have to worry about any scavs, PMCs, or anything in there. So once you come out of there, you take the first building on the left, just do a little run through, and then you can of course find a ton of actual rooms. Each of the rooms has loads of spawns in. There's a lot of technical items when you actually go into these rooms, so I was just filling up on random technical items. Things like shoeses, you found Xenos, that sort of stuff. There's just tons and tons of them within all of these rooms, as well as actually having blue intel folders that you can spawn in those rooms too. So always checking the desk, especially in this first building, because there is definitely a blue intel folder that you can actually pick up, or a blue folder, and that's going to net you some money. Of course, once you've kind of looted up all of this rooms, you then kind of head further on down, and you can head on over to the factory or workshop or garage area that's down at the bottom end of this area. And then once you're in there, there's a ton of rare spawns next to a bunk bed, just behind like a curtain. But there's also a lot of duffel bag spawns. There's a lot of technical items, obviously some of the high value technical items as well. So it's always worth picking up the 2 slot items or 1 slot items that are worth like 40k each, that sort of thing. You're really trying to min-max how much money you're making as you're going through this area if you are trying to make money, or if you're just simply searching around, picking up only the best loot, then that's absolutely fine as well. But if you are trying to make the max money, make sure you're picking up only items that are worth like 30k as a singular, or maybe like 50k as a double, but ideally 30k per slot. And then of course going around, you can go into the next area. There's a lot of duffels, as well as you can find an armor spawn. In this case, we actually found a Zuck that was actually underneath in like a cabinet, which was kind of interesting. I mean, if we wanted it and we didn't already have some, then perfect, but of course we do. And then once you've kind of done that, what you can then opt to do is go over to the kind of Prapples area. This is kind of the next area which you can find stuff in, and all you want to do is make your way directly across the train tracks to the opposite side. You can check on top of the carts and stuff that are in the middle of the area, and they do have some ammo spawns, that sort of stuff, lots of spawns of ammo all around, and sometimes you can find some decent stuff. Didn't really find a whole lot when I was going through, nothing of the like the utmost best possible ammo spawns, that sort of stuff, but still not bad. And then we make our way over to Prapple's house, or at least the supposed Prapple's house, but you know, it might just be that this is just a normal area. Then when you go inside of the building, you kind of want to hug the left hand side, make sure that you go behind all of the plates and stuff that are kind of sheltering you from the sniper scav, because it is directly in front of you as you're going towards this house. Then as you open up the door, I would highly recommend ducking your head down by just zooming down and then going through the door and then closing it as you come out. And then on your left, there's a ton of technical item spawns that spawn on the shelves as well as directly in front of you. And then there's 2 bathrooms, or at least like a shower room or something, or like a bedroom, extra room just on the first door on your right, and then a bathroom on the furthest door to your right. And then on the left is a big room with lots of rare spawns that spawn on the left on top of some of the cases, as well as on the desk. And you can also find yourself some items right at the back behind on top of the beds. And you want to checking on top of all of the beds because there's a lot of rare spawns that are on top of those. So you can pick up tons of money just purely off of the rare spawns on just this if you don't want to pick up any of the technical items. But either way, once you've kind of gone through this room, you then want to take a look in the bathroom, and the bathroom actually has a blue folder in it as well, so always worth checking in there, as that can net you, 300k, something like that, just from picking one of those up. And you can also find intel folders as well lying about throughout this run too, which do spawn in the same sort of areas. And of course, once you've gone in the bathroom, you can then head into the opposite room, which is kind of that spare roomy area. In there, you want to check inside of the wardrobe because there is a rare spawn. Usually, I think it's like a gold chain, stuff like that. Don't know exactly what possibility you can get of rare loot, but always worth checking in there. There's definitely a rare loot spawn in there. And then, of course, you want to check behind you inside of the bathtub. There can be some nades, as well as actually finding some money and possibly rare spawns, as well as a little box to your right as you're looking at the wardrobe down on the floor, which can also have some stuff inside of it. And then kind of that is basically it. That's the area. And the reason why you would want to do this on a scav as opposed to a PMC is just to get a much better extract. The extract for the scav, you just literally cross the bridge and the building is your extract. Like the broken down building is your extract, so you can always extract in there, which I highly recommend going as a scav if you want to explore this area and simply just extract afterwards. That's kind of what I do. But obviously, if you're playing PMC for tasks and stuff like that, the method is the exact same. You just have to then move on to the next area that you want to go in onwards. But really good overall run, and of course can make you upwards of like 2 million just from going into this one area. I mean, in terms of the loot that we managed to get, we got an intel folder, we got 2 blue folders, we got some high value keys as well as all of the general rare spawns and some of the nuts, bolts, hoses, M parts, toothpaste, relays, hoses, all sorts that came alongside of it with gold chains and everything all inclusive of that. Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made just by adding in these 2 things, and they're not too difficult to actually just go ahead and find and do this run. So adding them into every single woods raid, I think at the moment is a good option, and it's not taking up a huge amount of your time to do so. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, if you liked it, make sure to like the video and let me know what you want to see next. If you've got any other similar sort of things that you want me to cover in the game, let me know, because I might just do a video on them and I'll give you credit in the video at the beginning. But either way, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.